Okay, so today we continue with our class Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, and we start with the Sefer Chofetz Chaim. Big topic is the same laws of derogatory speech, and today's topic is self-incrimination. It is forbidden to relay derogatory information about someone, even when the speaker mentioned that he himself has the very same shortcoming or guilty of having committed the same act. This is derived from God's rebuke to the prophet Yeshayahu for having referred to himself as a man of impure lips, dwelling among people of impure lips. It's from Yeshayahu 6:5. Lashon hara cannot be spoken even if it is clear that one is not speaking out of malice, or with the intention to malign. Okay. Thus, one cannot relate negative information about his loved ones. So just because somebody included someone else in his derogatory speech does not make it permissible. So a person would say, you know what, all our family, we're all lazy. We're all lazy. My brother lazy. I'm lazy. My mother lazy. It's not appropriate. It's lashon hara. So just because person wants to include himself, he cannot speak about others. Even it's not proper to speak about himself as well. Okay, stop here. All right, so we continue with C of 46. Sorry, 46, and we at the end of this sieve, it was very long sieve, and we're talking about forbidden foods. Right, and last time we spent a lot of time, almost the whole class, about talking about worms in the fruits and into legumes, in lentils, in all of these interesting things, and how to get rid of them. Very interesting. So now we're almost finished with this worms and fish and other subjects. So today we continue with worms a little. So C of 44, and it says worms that are discovered in cheese are permitted if one is not disgusted by them. However, they are permitted only as long as they have not entirely left the cheese. And concept is the same as we said before. If something was developed if worm was developed inside of something, and the worm never came out of that thing or fruit, or as in this case is the cheese, so it is like part of this cheese. So if somebody like these worms, they can eat it. Okay, so let's see the commentary. Go ahead. Somebody.
So the French cheese, the one которая с плесенью покрывается, ее нельзя кушать?
So the question is with the cheese with what is it, with the mold. So if it's a kosher, so we're talking about the worms. Mold and worms, two separate things. So mold technically it's a bacteria, so it's allowed. There is no problem with mold. Sometimes people would call eat mold on what is it, on the bread or something. You want to eat, there is no problem in it. Penicillin, right? So sometimes it helps from some infection or something. So, but we're talking about worms here. So worms, it's a living worm that crawl. It's not mold. Okay. Well, yeah. So if you ask me, I never saw the cheese with worms. Today, we're very spoiled. We say we have everything vacuum packed and stuff like that. So, but I guess if people do their own cheese, it's possible. Like without preservatives, they would have these worms, those worms inside. So let's see. So it says they are permissible if one is not disgusted by them. So and it's let's see. If someone is repulsive to most people, it is prohibited even to one who is personally not repulsive by it. C 33:9 for the detail of this prohibition. before we continue, so it's actually we learn it in our class Yalkut Yosef, right? And now and plus like long time ago, and now we learn it in this in the Kitzur 33.9. I'm not sure if it's this volume or not. Yeah, or a previous one. 1 second, just 1 second. No, it's a first volume, 33.9. So it says that's clear, and it's very interesting halacha. So even if you like it and you love it very much, but other people would feel disgusted, right? Disgusted. So it means it became forbidden for you as well. So because other people would find it disgusting. So one of the examples, these worms, but I remember from my office days. So I remember these people from different countries. I'm not going to mention what country. So from one of the Asian country. So they would eat the jellyfish, and it was fried. And when they warm up this jellyfish in a microwave, everybody suffered. You understand? So it was so disgusting. We try like politely to close the door into what is it in the cafeteria, but they said no, let's keep it open. You understand? So it's very disgusting. So but worms, like if you see somebody's eating worms and it's like crawling between his teeth, it's very disgusting. So in all of these things, like it becomes forbidden to us. Whatever is it. Right? Or some people would spit into their plate, whatever they eat, and they spit into the plate. So it's disgusting. So maybe for you it's normal, but for the rest of the people it's disgusting. So it becomes like forbidden to you. Whatever is it, like people eat like sunflower seeds like that or other things, forbidden. Apparently, the small worms found in cheese are not considered repulsive to majority of people. Okay, I have not seen that, but me personally, I don't think I would like to taste these worms. I'm not sure why it's not repulsive to majority of the people. I'm not sure. Thus, if one is personally not repulsed by them, it is permitted to eat them. See Rema 86:16. 86:16. Oh, okay. It's in Shulchan Aruch. Okay. All right. It's a different book. Okay, no problem. So. It's very interesting. Maybe we'll see how they look like, these worms in the cheese. So most of the people are not disgusted. Okay, continue. However, they are permitted only as long as they are not entirely left in the cheese. So if they left the cheese like cheese or fruit, as we were explaining about fruits, so it's like it is crawled on the ground. Even if it did not crawl on the ground, it just went out of the fruit or cheese. So it's like it's become automatically forbidden. While it is inside of the fruit, or in this case in the cheese, it is allowed. Very interesting. So let's see the commentary and we explain. This law that the worms become prohibited when they have entirely left the cheese is from Rama, okay, and is a subject of the debate among halakhic authorities. Some maintain that the worms that develop in cheese are not included in biblical prohibition against vermin, and were prohibited by the sages only to prevent appearance of wrongdoing. Marisign. Let's be perceived as consuming forbidden vermin. So biblically forbidden worms are only worms from what is it? From the fruits, right? So I would say this debate if this prohibition applies to the worms in cheese or so it's biblical or rabbinical, right? So rabbinical meaning what? That meaning that the sages just created a safeguard for us. Meaning, if we allowed people to eat these worms, that they will assume all of the other worms are allowed. So as we said many times in this class, not this only in all of the classes. So sages were trying to create like some kind of universal halacha to simplify the laws for people, even though some things were technically permissible would be forbidden, but it's to prevent people from violating some biblical prohibition. Okay, so I mean, for me it makes perfect sense. Just have one halacha, all of the worms are forbidden if they out. Continue. Thus, when it is obvious that the vermin develop in a cheese, it may be eaten. So the way I see it, like if you have the whole piece of cheese, not sliced, right, and you cut like in the middle, let's say, and you find worms in there, so these worms are permitted. Like you see, there is no holes that never came out, so that's the situation. According to this view, they do not become prohibited until they are removed from the dish containing the cheese. While still in the dish, it is obvious that they develop in cheese. Okay, I'm not sure what dish, but okay, but we got it, like in a dish where the cheese was made. So they're permitted even though they left the cheese itself. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure why would people would like, I mean, if you have cheese, why would you want to eat these worms? I'm not sure. Okay, continue. Others, however, maintain that vermin that develop in cheese are prohibited biblically, but only after they left the cheese. So everybody agree that while it's inside, develop inside from the bacteria, from wherever they develop, there is no problem, you're allowed. But when they left, so according to this opinion, right, it's biblical. So they draw the parallel with fruits. Now, while a worm that develops in fruit becomes prohibited, even if it emerges into the surface of the fruit, right? As we said many times, here we go, right? The vermin that develop in cheese do not become prohibited until they leave the cheese entirely. Okay. So here's the difference. So one more time. Now, while the worms are developing fruit, becomes prohibited even if it emerges into the surface of the fruit. So, meaning, as we were discussing in this chapter, fruits. So we say a person had visually see if there is any holes through which the worm maybe came out and then went back in, right? So not completely, just a little out and in. Okay. So and we said it's especially if it's a fruit attached to the tree. So if the fruit, we said, just to remind us, right? The fruit attached to the tree attached to the ground, it's like when the worm came out of the tree, it's like, in double quotes, like it crawled on the ground, right? That's what I will just say, right? So even if it stick its head out and went back in, okay. Right, but here with vermin in cheese, they say only if it's left entirely. Okay, so according to the sages, since the vermin develop on the surface of the cheese in the first place, they are not viewed as having left the cheese until they have departed it completely. So one more time, since the vermin developed on the surface of the cheese, so somehow not inside but on the surface, okay, in the first place, they are not viewed as having left the cheese until they departed it completely. Okay, no problem. So I mean they crawling outside completely. Thus, according to this view, if worm is still creeping, or even jumping upon the surface of the cheese, it is not prohibited. So why? Because it was developed this way. So I mean, it says other maintains. I'm not sure if I don't think it's a majority, but okay. But there is such opinion. But once it have crept out onto the dish, so it's the cheese in some kind of dish. So it went from the surface, went out from the surface of the cheese into the dish, right? That contains cheese. It does become prohibited. See Pri Hadash, Pri Magadim, Chachmas Adam. Okay. So in this case, according to all of the opinion, so I guess that the difference is, according to one opinion, if they like still on the surface, on another, according to another opinion, if they completely left the surface, only then they become forbidden. Okay. So continue. It's a very interesting topic. Next halacha, 45, and it says the Torah issued many prohibitions regarding the consumption of vermin, and one violates numerous transgressions on account of eating any of them. So if you look at Rashi, so Rashi explains on the pasuk in the Torah. So he said, I think that the maximum it's seven prohibitions, if I remember correctly. So it depends what kind of insect, right? Moreover, or worm, right? Moreover, they contaminate the soul, as it says in Vaikra 11:43, regarding the consumption of vermin, lest you become contaminated through them. A person must therefore be extremely vigilant to avoid stumbling by mistaking eating any of them. So, as we said in our Thursday class, Kosher Kitchen, so we said even in some, it was said in introduction, right? So we said even in under certain circumstances, when a person's life is in danger, he would be or she would be allowed to eat non-kosher food, for example, at Shabbos, and the person is very weak and they need a piece of meat, and the only meat is available is not kosher meat from a neighbor. Okay, so it is allowed to eat, but even if it was allowed and they did not transgress any prohibitions, like halachically, but it's still going to contaminate their soul, and the same with all of the medicine, right? The medicine like that contain all of these non kosher things, right? So is it allowed? 100% it is allowed. Is it good for you? No, it's not good for you. So same with these worms, even if you're allowed to eat them, and they consider it to be part of the cheese or fruit, it's better not to eat it. Okay, so are they allowed? Allowed. Should you eat it? Absolutely not. As we learned in an introduction to Kosher Kitchen, so they're going to contaminate person's soul and his holiness, and his ability to understand Torah. So one of the first questions when somebody said I cannot concentrate on my learning of the Torah, I fall asleep, right? I do this, or there are people like this, they struggle, they try. So the first question we ask, if they're very strict with the laws of kosher, that's the question number one. Okay, so continue. C46. Kitzur concludes the Siman with the guidelines for one who makes halachic inquiry. Okay, so of course, as in introduction to this Siman was, so it's only some things, like some highlights, like it's only, what is it, 46 halachas, I don't know how many pages, 10 pages, 12 pages, and that's it. Of course, it's not all about kosher, it's only some things that people are not aware of. Okay, but we're going to cover this very extensively in all of the details, BeEzrat HaShem, in our Kosher Kitchen class on Thursday. But at least, in the first chapter of Kosher Kitchen class, so the authors say, right, at least you would know at least what to ask, right? That's very important to know when to ask and how to ask. So, okay, one who is due to uncertainty regarding the status of food poses a question before halakhic authority, who pronounces the food prohibited, may not pose the question before another halakhic authority if in a hope the more lenient ruling, unless he notifies the second halakhic authority that the first halakhic authority already ruled and prohibited the food. So let's, before we read even the commentary, we have to explain. So this is the general rule. So there is, especially in our generation, when all of the rabbis are accessible on a click on the bottom, you can send text message or do BCC, all of them, like 10 of them, whoever answers first. So you have a question, of course, your question takes priority, doesn't matter. Other people do not have lives, some people think, right? Rabbis don't have lives, and they only there to serve you. right? And whoever answered first. So the question would a person would send this question to 3, 4, 5 people, to 5 rabbis, and whoever answered first. But it's not proper way. It's not only not unethical. It's against halacha. So halacha says, as Kitzur indicates here. So if you go ask your rabbi, whoever your rabbi is, right? In Kashrus. So for example, you have a top halachic authority on Kashrus. So I have, as I said before, I consult with the Kuf K Rabbi Leib Shlita. So he's very, he wrote a lot of books, and he in this industry for many years, very knowledgeable person. So I go to him because he's an expert in this field. Okay, so if person asks one rabbi and he said no, okay, so just take this answer and live with it, right? Do most likely this rabbi said no, not because he wants you to lose money or something, chas v'shalom, right? So that's because of based on his knowledge. That's the halacha. So, but if you decided to go and ask second opinion, even though it's not a doctor, you should, in most cases, you should not ask a second opinion. But if you feel that he is wrong for whatever reason, right? For whatever reason, so you must present the question as Kitzur told us. So you say, Kvod Harav, I ask Rabbi such and such, right? I presented the question like this and this, and he told me no, it's not kosher because this and that. So what would you say? And that rabbi would be very, very careful before contradicting another person, a kosher person, so who also saw all of the facts, right, and consider all of the possibilities, and he decided not kosher. So most likely, not always, but most likely he is going to confirm, yeah, it's not kosher. But if you don't present all of the facts, you withheld some facts, right? And did not say that you consult with somebody else. So maybe he's going to say, yeah, it's kosher, right? So sometimes a person feels like a big winner that he got the answer that he wants, but in Shema he's going to held accountable, because he actually misled the second rabbi. Okay, so continue with the commentary, and it says, when the first halakhic authority uses his ruling, the item become forbidden, right? Become forbidden. Even if the second halakhic authority later ruled leniently, the first ruling stands. That's very interesting. So, okay, continue. However, the second halakhic authority convinces the first one that he erred, and he rescinded his ruling, then the item becomes permissible once again. Psh, that's, what I said, it was in general statement, like a general halakha, but now we're talking about it's actually from Shulchan Aruch and Rama rules, right? So he said that, so once first rabbi pronounced it forbidden, it is forbidden. So now it's not between you and the second rabbi, it's actually between the two rabbis. So he said it's forbidden. But if first one would overlook, review the case and say, Kvod Harav, I apologize, I think that now this Mr. Questionnaire asked me, he forgot to tell you this and that. So would you change your opinion in light of new circumstances? If first rabbi said yes, so okay, it is permitted. If he said no, so it stands forbidden. It's very interesting. The Kitzur permits asking the second authority after notifying him that a ruling was already issued. Very interesting. So that the second authority is aware that the item remained prohibited unless the previous ruling is retracted. That's very interesting. For the fuller treatment of the subject, see Rama Yerodeh 242, 243. I'm not sure what topic is that. 242. Okay. The Shach and Orach HaShulchan, etc., etc. So it's very interesting. So we can. Any questions on what we said so far? Okay. If no questions, so we can go ahead, please. Go ahead.
So let's say one question I have is the only things you should ask a rabbi for. Let's say one rabbi is not as strong in halacha or midrash. Let's say the rabbi tells you, "Oh, go to this rabbi. He's stronger than me in halacha or in midrash or whatever he's stronger in." You think it's the rabbi's duty to send him to another rabbi that's stronger in a certain aspect?
So we have one very important principle in Judaism, and we have to be very, very I don't know what is the word I'm looking for, maybe accurate with that. What is the rule? Do not place a stumbling block in front of the blind. So meaning what? Do not tempt other person to say something or do something that he would not do otherwise. You understand? So if you ask, let's say, this rabbi, maybe he's not a rabbi, maybe he's good with, as you said, with the midrash, with the stories. He would tell you jokes from the beginning of the lecture until the end of the lecture. You start laughing and you continue for the whole 30 minutes, 60 minutes. You understand? But you ask him a simple question about Shema that we're going to discuss today. He said, I don't know, do whatever you want. Why are you asking me? You understand? So if you ask him a question and it's possible that he does not know, he would give you the wrong answer. So many people not strong enough to send to somebody else. You have to have only only when you know the person is God-fearing. So he would send you to somebody else who's an expert in that field. And it's normal. But in our generation, not only among the simple people, among the rabbis, there is some kind of person feel that he must be a winner or something. I'm saying he must know everything. Sometimes people ask me questions. I don't remember. I'm not a computer. I'm not a Mr. Google. So I say, give me some time. I'm going to research it. Even maybe for you it sounds a simple question, but for me, I don't want to give you a wrong answer. Especially everything is recorded. Why should I do it? You understand? But when it's not recorded, people can tell you many different things, and then they're going to deny. And we had these issues. So a person must have this rabbi, who would ask the questions. That's it. You understand? If you know that this person is knowledgeable in laws, okay, ask them the question. But in our time, just it's much easier since we buy food. We don't make food in the house usually. Most of the people do not prepare cheese. We do not prepare all these other things. So we buy the food with a stamp. So all of these foods, our life is much easier. We just have to keep the dishes separately. And the only question, if you have a soup, right, with chicken, and you mix it with milk spoons. That's with a dairy spoon. That's the thing. But otherwise, we would have usually much less questions to rabbis. But still, yeah, you don't ask person. Don't tempt them to give you a wrong answer. You understand? So ask only person that you think he knows, or he's God-fearing person. So he would send you to expert. You understand? So it's very, very, very important. Yeah. Go ahead. Did I answer your question, or you meant something else?
Well, you did, but what I'm talking about is two rabbis. I'm not talking about a Jew, just a normal person. I'm talking about two rabbis, religious rabbis. They know, and then there's one that just doesn't know the topic at that moment, and he recommends you to go maybe to his rabbi or a God-fearing rabbi. Is it good to do that?
Yes, absolutely. That's what you must do. So I give you this example. Somebody asked me not long ago about all the details about chuppah, right? How to do marriage. I learned it hypothetically. I mean, we went through all of these laws, but did I delve inside? No. Did I practice? Did I ever officiate chuppah? No, I never. You understand? But I know somebody who is an expert. He has a smicha, a special certification for this specific field, and that's what he does for a living, basically. So I send it to that person. You understand? So that's a proper thing to do, to send it to expert. whatever that expertise, or somebody like they ask me the question about, for example, no, they did not ask me, but for example, right? They asked me about circumcision. I know the basic things, but have I ever done the circumcision? Absolutely not. I did not, right? And I don't want to do it. So I would send to the expert. That's a proper thing to do. Yes, there is no problem. Send it to an expert so that you have a referral from a person who you trust, and that person who you trusts another person. That's absolutely a good thing to do. Any other questions before we continue? Okay, so let's continue. So now we start a new topic, and we discussed it, but in a different class, a little, right? A little, or somebody asked the question. I don't remember how it went. Okay, so Siman 47. It's also a very long sieve. And says the laws of wine of idolater. Oh no, we're discussing the food of the bread of the idolater. It's actually in this class, right? Now the laws of the wine of idolaters, and rendering a utensil used with such wine fit non-kosher use. So contain 22 CFM. So only for wine, it's 22 CFM, which is very long. So, introduction. Wine poured by idolaters for idolaters' service becomes yain nesech. Nesech wine of libation. So, and so libation meaning these idolaters like put on the altar, like they would do some sacrifice of some ritual for their gods, right? And one of the acts they would pour wine, right? So, and a Jew is biblically prohibited from drinking or having any benefit from it. So it's from Talmud Avodah Zarah 29b. Okay, so not drinking, no benefit. Okay, as an extension to this prohibition, and other in order to prevent intermarriage, the rabbis prohibited drinking or benefited from any wine of idolaters, right? So, and this intermarriage part actually we discussed in our topic when we discussed the bread is that was baked by a non-Jew is forbidden for a Jew, right? So why? And it's just to remind us, people get together. They break bread, they eat, they now drink a little wine, and guess what? Next time, like 2 hours later, they decided to intermarry their children. That's what's going to happen. So rabbis say, do not sit together with non-Jews, do not associate, like try to stay away. Of course, we have to work together, we do business together, you have to be nice neighbor, like sometimes I have this non-Jewish neighbor, new one. He's actually Arab, so he's so nice. So he's actually sweeps sometimes like sweep on my property. Okay, so next time he's not there, I feel bad. I sweep a little on his property. You understand? So, but does not mean that I'm going to invite this neighbor to my house, or I'm planning to go to his children's wedding. Absolutely not. That's a different story. You understand? So we must be nice, but keep the distance, right? So that's what our rabbi said. So rabbis prohibited benefited from any wine of idolaters. Okay, so and they call it like literally the ordinary wine. So even this wine was not poured for libation like today, like idolater, like if you know non-Jews they pour for libation for their idols. Wine most likely not, but this is rabbinical prohibition, of course. By idolaters, even if it was not done for the service of deity. See Shulchan Aruch Yoredei 123:1. Okay, so for those smart people who say smart in double quotes, right? So they say no, but today we don't. There is no libation. Yeah, there is no libation. Just because they know how to translate yain nesech does not mean that second part is not applicable. Okay, so before we continue, we do not drink non-kosher wine. Period. Number one. with regard to the wine of idolaters, nowadays when it's uncommon for them to offer their wine libation to their deities, and so too if idolater touches our wine nowadays, there are those authorities who say that it is prohibited only from drinking and not to benefit. Therefore, a Jew may accept wine of idolaters as a payment of a debt that owned him, because it is equivalent to rescuing his debt from them. Okay, so I'm going to read the whole sif, and then we're going to back end with details. The same applies with regard to any other potential financial loss. For example, if one transgresses the prohibition, see below, and purchases wine from idolaters, he need not discard the wine, but may benefit from it and sell to another idolater. But initially, one may not purchase the wine from idolater in order to profit from it. There are, however, those authorities who are lenient in this matter as well, and allow one to initially purchase the wine from idolater in order to profit from it. Nevertheless, it is preferable to conduct oneself stringently and not to do business with wine of idolaters. Okay, so we stop here, we go to the beginning, and we're going to go line by line with a commentary, and we're going to explain. So, of course, today, idolaters today, so when I say idolaters, it's mostly Christians, right? So, but do they pour wine for libation? Most likely not. But whatever Shulchan Aruch said still stands, but there are some sins, they are for sure they're not idol worshippers that Shulchan Aruch meant, right, in that sense. So there could be some leniency, but not lechatchila, as Kitzur said, not like to begin with, that you would establish business to buying and selling non-kosher wine, right? There are a million businesses. Why would you go into this questionable one, right? But in some cases, our sages, to prevent people from financial loss, so they would allow, right, some leniency. And you see how our sages they were trying to find all of the possible leniency. Of course, kosher according to the Torah, so the people would not lose money. That's simply amazing. Okay, so from the beginning and with commentaries. With regard to the wine of idolaters, so and commentaries say literally the ordinary wine. So ordinary wine that was not used for libation, we know it's a regular wine. You go to the store, like regular wine, right? With regard to the wine of idolaters, nowadays, I think it's Kitzur was written maybe 300 years ago, right? So approximately, right? So 250, 300 years ago. So nowadays, when it is uncommon for them to offer wine libation to their deities, and so too, but if you know that they do, for example, I don't know, some crazy religion that they do sacrifices, right? Like for example, we have a new students, Baruch HaShem, that actually watching our lectures. So now, as of right now, we officially have people watching our lectures on all of the continents. So now we have several students join us from Africa, and people from Nigeria. So I have 3 students in Nigeria, Baruch HaShem. So one of them asked me, so he's not, he suspects that he's a Jew. He wants to go through the conversion process, right? So he asked me a very interesting question. He said, Rabbi, why these people? So, and there are many synagogues in Nigeria, just so you know, right? Many. I'm not sure how many, but I heard many, right? So he said, how come they do sacrifices? I said, what do you mean sacrifice? Yeah, so the people there, I'm not sure they're Jewish, not Jewish, don't ask me. I never look into it. I hope they are. Maybe they mix their culture with idolaters' culture. So they do sacrifices, right? Even though there is no temple, they do sacrifice. Maybe they do this libation also. Are they Jewish? They claim to be Jewish, but Baruch Hashem, that's what they do. So he asked me the question. Of course, I gave him the answer, but it's very interesting. So it's possible. Maybe you local Christians don't do that, but does not mean that other people would not do it. I mean, if they would do, like in my mind, if they would do like sacrifice animal, goats or some stuff like that, so they would pour wine on this altar. Like, what's stopping them? That's what were doing in the temple. Okay. So one more time. So it's uncommon for them to offer wine libation to their deities. Okay, and so too if an idolater touches our wine nowadays, right? There are those authorities who say that it is prohibited only from drinking, but not from benefiting. So original wine that was used for worshiping of the idols, of course, it is forbidden. So now we're talking about our wine. So let's say if he touched our wine, maybe he was planning to use this wine for to pour on altar for his deity. That's the suspicion, right? Some commentaries say, even though deriving benefit from idolatrous wine was included in the original prohibition, nevertheless, according to this opinion, wine of the idolater in our time does not offer, who does not offer one libation to his deity, is not subject to the full scope of the original prohibition. So original prohibition was you're not allowed to drink it. Your kosher, we're talking about your kosher wine, right? You're not allowed to drink it, and you are not allowed to derive any benefit. So meaning what? That you have to flush into the sink. And not flush, like pour into the sink, right? And it's originally, and it's not prohibited to benefit. So today, since these people do not worship like idols, with libation, even though they do worship idols, they bow to the statues, to the pictures. Of course, they call it God. So they worship idols for sure, but they do not do this libation. However, the prohibition of drinking the wine of idolater is in no way diminished. So, this is 100% forbidden. And the halachic authorities relate at length the severe consequences for a transgression of this prohibition. So, meaning the people who said, okay, so it's only wine. What is it? It's grapes. What I know they're nice people, right? So, okay, so it's consequences of this prohibition. Continue. Therefore, a Jew may accept wine of idolaters as a payment for the debt owed to him, because it is equivalent to the rescuing his debt from them. So let's see the commentary, and we're going to explain. It's very interesting, statement. So since it is real concern that if one does not accept the wine offered as a payment, he may never recover his money, one may rely on the opinion that it is permitted to have benefit from it nowadays, and accept the wine in order to sell it to another idolater. So of course he's not going to drink this wine. Drinking of this wine of non-Jew, absolutely forbidden. That's out of the question. But at least we say it. So our sages were concerned that it's very, very hard for a Jew to make living, right? And I mean, it's been always, but since we are always strange people among all of the nations that we live, so it's not. And plus, if a person is trying to be religious and observe holidays and stuff like that, so it's buy kosher food, and we know the kosher food is much more expensive, at least meat and cheese and the dairy product, right? Many of them, not all of them, but many of them, much more expensive. So our sages were they tried to if we would find some leniency, so they say, okay, you can accept it, you can accept non-Jewish wine, right? If these guys say, this John say, okay, I have two, I don't know, what is it, barrels from you for wine for you. Okay, maybe it's a little more than I borrow for you. Look, you want to take it, or you can wait until the next year, maybe I'm going to sell it. So of course you want to take it, otherwise you're never going to see this money, this guy. So in this case, you can rely on this leniency. Okay, why? As beautifully stated, you rescuing your debt, you rescuing your money. Okay. The same applies with regard to any other potential financial loss. So one more time, we're not doing it like lechatchila, we're not doing it initially, but only if you have a real concern that if you don't accept this wine, you're never going to see money again. So of course, is it advisable to do that? I mean, it's up according to your bitachon. Right, HaShem is going to return to your money, or it's gone. Okay, so but if you imunah and HaShem is not so strong, yeah, you can absolutely, there is no problem. I'll rely on this opinion. For example, if one transgresses the prohibition and purchases wine from idolater, he need not discard the wine. So I mean, he said he saw the wine like very cheap, right? Very cheap. Right, store was going out of the business. I don't know, whatever, right? So he bought all of the wine, but may not benefit from it and sell it to another idolater. Okay, so once he like violated half of the prohibition and he bought it, like he cannot violate the second prohibition and sell it and benefit from it. No, actually, no. Sorry, I apologize. No. Just 1 second. The same applies with regard to any other potential financial loss. For example, if one transgresses prohibition, see below, and purchases the wine from a idolater, he need not discard the wine. He may benefit and sell it to another idolater. So only to another idolater. So why would he benefit? That's a different story. Okay. But initially, one may not purchase the wine from a idolater in order to profit from it. So I mean, the way I see it, like it's already Jewish hashkafa, Jewish approach. It's a slippery slope. You start going into the shady area. Some poskim said yes, some no. Like if it after the fact, if as a first case, which you're afraid that you're never going to recover money, I understand. Okay, sages understand. But if it's the case when he does it initially, that's a matter of time when is going to start doing other things. I mean, unfortunately, the history shows. There are, however, those authorities who are lenient even in this matter as well, and allow one to initially purchase wine from idolater in order to profit from it. Okay, so in order to profit from it. Okay, so very lenient. Nevertheless, it is preferable not to conduct oneself stringently and not to do business with wine of idolaters. Number 6. So I mean, don't put yourself in this questionable situation like when you might do this initially. So do different business. I don't know. Sell vodka. Vodka is kosher, for example. Why do you need to do wine? Sell whiskey. Whiskey is kosher or something. Cognac, or like cognac is maybe kosher. Okay, continue. Number 6. The Kitzur below 72.2, who rules that wine of one who publicly desecrates Shabbos has the same status as one of an idolater, right? So they say, why would you call a non-Shomer Shabbos Jew is like an idol worshiper? Yeah, that's what Shulchan Aruch says, right? So if he does it publicly, and our holy sages say, well, what does it mean publicly? And they explain, when 10 people know about it, right? So it does not mean like all 10 people saw that person at the same time. It means that the 10 people, maybe 2 people saw it on this day, on this Shabbos, on another Shabbos, so like everybody knows. Okay, so he thinks that he's in hiding, but everybody knows. So his wine is a wine of idolater. Okay. So continue. Rabbi Moshe finds in the Tzal rules that although the custom is indeed not to drink wine touched by one who desecrates Shabbos, one may give him wine to drink. It's very interesting. So Igras Moshe or Chaim 5. So so I remember learning this response, and it's very interesting. Like, okay, you have a guest at your table, right? Who is not Jew, not Shomer Shabbos. So on one hand, he's like an idolater. So of course you're not going to give him bottles to pour wine. Not. Let's say bottle in your hand, he's on your left. The bottle is on your right hand. He's not going to reach for a bottle. So you pour him some wine, and once he touched the wine, so it's already wine that is that belongs to idolater. So it's his wine, and it's like he's an idol worshiper. So and it looks like you as a kosher Jew, you benefit from other person, right? For other person benefit for wife of idolater. So meaning who is benefit, he's going to drink. So Moshe finds in Zatzal, I mean, in his brilliance, he say, yeah, let him drink it. It's very interesting, right? Any questions on what we said before we continue? Okay. So, okay, so it's, I mean, a very unexpected case, right? So this person make this wine forbidden, and its wine is yours. So it looks like you personally, you are the host of that person, is benefited from forbidden wine. Continue. It is permitted to prepare the therapeutic bath using wine of idolaters for an ill person, even if he is not in a mortal danger. So, okay, so very interesting commentary. This is permitted because it is more of the more lenient status of today idolaters. See Rama, Yerodea, okay, 155.3. See above note 4. Nevertheless, this is permitted only for one who is ill. In fact, even if one who is ill may not eat or drink such wine, unless his life is in danger. Okay, so one thing is to take a bath in this non-kosher wine, but another thing is to drink it. Okay, so if person is ill, so he can take this bath using the wine. I'm not sure what is it for, what it's helped with, but looks like it's therapeutic. Okay, no problem. Continue. Number 3. Not all of the wine products are subject to the prohibition of wine of an idolater. The theme that follows discuss the status of wine that was altered in some manner. Okay, let's see. With regard to kosher wine that has been cooked, it has been heated to the extent that it began evaporate and has diminished in quantity due to the heating. The halacha is that if idolater touches after it was cooked, it is permitted for the drinking. So, but the wine to which the wormwood herb was added, which is called Vermin, as long as it is still called wine and had not been cooked, is prohibited if idolater touched it, even though the taste has changed. Okay, so let's do from the beginning with a commentary, and we're going to explain, because it's very interesting. So halacha number 3 from the beginning. Not all of the wine products are subject to the prohibition of wine of idolater. The theme that follow discuss the status of wine that was altered in some manner. So, okay. So what does it mean alter? The normal wine is just when you press the grapes, right? You collect, maybe some people add sugar to this and that, but basically this is it, right? Altered meaning that, as I say, they cooked, right? With regard to non-kosher, the kosher wine that has been cooked, it has been heated to the extent that it began to evaporate and diminish quantity due to the heating. So it was not boiling, but it started like evaporating. So that's very, very, very important thing. So let's see. According to Rabbi Moshe Feinstein Zatzal, once the temperature of the wine has reached 175 degrees of Fahrenheit, so it's 79.4 Celsius, so it's pretty high, right? Is considered to cooked regarding these laws. Sigras Moshe, Yerodaya. Okay, skip. Where he stated that one can be lenient and consider it cooked once it reached the temperature 165 degrees of Fahrenheit or 73.9 Celsius. So a little lenient. I mean, in cases of the need, you can rely on it. So on a bottle, if you buy kosher wine, right? So on a bottle, would say mevushal or lo mevushal. So or not mevushal. So they usually spell in English. So sometimes only in Hebrew, but many times I think most times that they would say in English. I think, right, especially in America. So meaning what that mevushal, it's mean that it was cooked. So this wine that, so since as we learned in our Rambam's class, we said that Rambam explained that it's like is a lower quality. So this idol worshiper would not put it on the altar for their deity, right? It's like disrespect to their deity, and that's why it is permitted for us, right? So I mean, permitted even if they touched it. So it's kosher wine, again, was cooked, and non-Jew touch it, or this non-Shomer Shabbos Jew touch it. For example, he picked up my bottle from the table, and he was trying to be nice and pour everybody like around the table like more wine. So we still can drink this wine. Okay, so let's see. The halacha is that if idolater touched it after it was cooked, this mevushal, it is permitted even for drinking. So up to now we were discussing like the leniency of the leniency to derive benefit, not to drink but to sell it, right, to another non-Jew. So but here, since it is cooked wine, you can even drink it. Commentary. Among the reasons offered for this are: A. Idol worship do not use cooked wine in their religious rites. Yes, Rambam Hilchas Machalos Asuros 11.9, right? We just finished recently this topic in my morning class. And B. It was uncommon for the wine to be cooked, and as a rule, rabbinic decree do not apply to uncommon cases, right? Rosh Avodah Zarah 2:13, and it is true when you taste wine which is not cooked, for example, kosher wine not cooked, and then you taste wine that is cooked with mevush, it's a totally different wine. It's like not even close. Even sometimes one company would sell same brand, same like from same year. Same grapes. One bottle it was cooked, and was another not cooked, not even close. Like same name, same year, same everything, same company. It's not even close. Okay. So continue. Almost done. But wine to which the wormwood herb was added, which is called vermouth, as long as it's called wine. It has not and has not been cooked, is prohibited if idolater touched it, even though the taste was changed. So let's see about this herb. Commentary: the wormwood plant yields a bitter extract that is used to flavor certain wine, significantly altering the taste. But still, it's still wine. So I guess. I mean, there is no explanation, but logically we can assume that. This wine was used for possibly they would use it for idol worshiping. Okay, so we can stop here and see any questions on any topic. We can go to any topic if you want. Okay, so so you can think of the questions. So let me start a few questions I remember from WhatsApp, but I was going to ask Joshua to help me. So one question was asked if a woman obligated to read the third paragraph of the Shema, right? So as we learned in our class, Women's Halach on Monday, and it actually applies in some cases, in some extent to men. So, but about women specifically. So, women are not obligated in all of the halachas that connected to time, and Shema is one of these halachas, right? So, meaning what? If you see in a calendar, myzmanim.com, so it says clearly you must say Shema up to this and this time, right? Meaning what? So if men, Jewish men, said Shema after that specific time, so it's not, so in some cases, I'm not going to go into details, but it's not going to count him as he said Shema, right? In the proper time, it would count him as he learned Torah, but not mitzvah of the Shema. But women are not obligated in all of the, in more, I don't want to say more, all because yesterday we said exceptions about Shabbos Kiddush, right? I don't want to say all, but from many mitzvahs that connected to time. So a woman is obligated to accept upon herself a yoke of heaven, and that's what the first verse of the Shema does, right? So she said, Shema Israel, HaShem Elokeinu HaShem Echad, and Baruch Shem Kavod Malchus Olam Vaed. So only these two lines, and basically it's more than enough, not more, it's enough for her if she would say it any time of the day. That doesn't matter when, but of course, it's proper. If she would say maybe with the first paragraph, or if she does not have time, okay, she can go just with this line. And and answering the question, of course, she can skip the third paragraph. But not because it says about tzitzis and not apply to her. It's not the reason, because women are not obligated to say Shema. That's the reason. So she can say. So the proper way would be to say only Shema Israel and second line, say Shema Israel second line and the first paragraph, or to say all of the three paragraphs. But usually people do not say two paragraphs and skip third. That's not common. Okay, so Joshua, can you please check what else was on? I didn't have time to look. Please.
Yes. Can I recite the first paragraph of the Shema, looking at the Magen David of the Israeli flag to prevent distraction? If I close my eyes, I start to think nonsense.
Okay, so there is a big problem with this Israeli flag. So this Israeli flag, has nothing to do with Judaism, just so we know. So it was designed by anti-God people, and the whole notion of modern day Israel was anti-God. Like all of these people were absolutely against religious people, against HaShem. So and all of the symbols that they use have nothing to do with Judaism. So it's proper not to have these items in your house, right? Of course, and not to look at them. So these people, basically, they denied HaShem, and they say, okay, why do we need HaShem? We have technology, we have weapons. Of course, it would be better if HaShem helps, but even if he doesn't, that was their mentality, unfortunately. Okay, so it's better not to. So, I mean, there are other ways to concentrate, as we said yesterday. Try to, as Rambam said, in I think it's in Hilchot Diot, in our class Hilchot Diot. So he said why improper thoughts would come into. I'm not talking about anybody like specific, and about everybody, like because this mind is empty of Torah. But if we pack our mind full of Torah, like it would be like less chance that these improper thoughts would get into. Of course, the Satan is going to try to penetrate in any way of shape or form, but at least like the more Torah we learn, the less chance we give him to penetrate with all of this garbage. It's not 100% foolproof, but at least we did our shtadlus, yes. Okay, what else?
If I don't have seats, is it okay to skip the last part of the Shema about the commandment of seats?
Yeah. So we answered this. Okay, yeah. Go ahead. What else? Was there anything else? So that's it.
Can an older unmarried mother or widow study the Torah and Talmud if her kids are all grown up and living on their own?
Could you please repeat the question one more time, please? Sorry.
Can an older unmarried mother or widow study the Torah and Talmud if her kids are all grown up and living on their own?
Okay. Yes. There's no problem whatsoever. So women have no obligation to get married. Just so you know. So the obligation is upon men to get married and to have children. Women do not have obligation to have children. So, but they trying to help men. Of course, men by himself cannot have children, even though people today say they can. Right, so he needs to marry. So a woman, actually does a huge favor to a man that she's going to bring the kids into the world. But if she does not want to marry, she has children, this and that, there is absolutely no problem for her to study Torah. Absolutely, right, and disseminate Torah and study with others, like to help others. Even we have this lady in our neighborhood, and she she's a widow, and her kids, she's like a very difficult character. So kids moved away as far as possible in all of the different ends of the country. But what I suggest here, like she was crying to me, so I suggest here that there are many people like kids. She's in, I don't know, maybe early 70s, right? So I suggest here, like there are many kids that would need tutoring. Like she's professional teacher, like retired teacher. So you can tutor kids, and would be a big asset. Teach them Torah or whatever she's proficient in, right? So there's no problem for women to learn Torah, especially in this age. So if she's a young, for young girls, Talmud says it's absolutely forbidden to learn Torah. So why is it absolutely forbidden? Because Torah is sweet, right? And she does not have Eitzah Hara, because she is not obligated to learn. Men obligated to learn has a bigger resistance. Women not obligated to learn. The Torah is sweet. She would never going to get married. She would sit and learn Torah from the morning until night, and sleep few hours, get up at night and learn at night. So that's not what she came to the world for. Right? You understand? But for older women, yeah, there is no problem. And plus, they can learn, if she acquires some knowledge, she can teach other women, let's say, one-on-one. So for men, it's not proper to teach women one-on-one, but like in a group, that's a different story. But she can, so that's her advantage, actually. Okay. What else?
If we are eating a dairy snack and then drink a bottle of water and a few hours go by, when is it safe to eat meat? Can we still drink out of the same bottle of water, or do we need to get a new one? Okay,
that's okay. When I say today many Kashrus laws issues do not apply, so I spoke too fast. That's a very good question. So actually, of course, if somebody ate this daily, let's say cheese sandwich, right? So of course the residue of the cheese is going to be on the bottle if they drank from the bottle. So I would say the safest thing would be to pour in a cup. So if you pour in a cup, there is no problem whatsoever. Okay, so let's see. So that's one solution, to pour in a cup. So you can, of course, you can use the same bottle for meat meal. So technically, if you want, you can eat meat right after the dairy. So what you just need to rinse your mouth, right, with water, with I don't know, with juice, with whatever you want, right, and eat something hard. They say some piece of cookie, like something like chewy, so to remove the taste from your mouth, and then you can eat meat right away. So the break could be, I don't know, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. Some people go by more stringent opinion. They wait half an hour. Is it obligated? No, it's not obligated, but some people adhere to this stricter opinion, for sure. If a person ate hard cheese, like hard cheese that like Swiss cheese or something that takes more than 6 months to make, right? 6 months or around this to make. So then this hard cheese considered to be like a meat, and after this cheese you must wait 6 hours, right? But okay, so that's it. But this cheese is very expensive. How do it's hard cheese? It's very expensive, like 4 times, no, maybe not 4, but 2 or 3 times more than double minimum, more expensive than regular cheese. That's how I know it's hard cheese. Okay, what else? I think Jose had a question. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Rabbi, I have a question. Okay, how do I put it? Okay. Is a single Jewish man allowed to live in the same house as a righteous Gentile, like a Noahide? Which is, he's not an idol worshiper. He believes in the God of Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't believe, he's a righteous Gentile. Is he allowed to cohabit with that person?
Not cohabit, live together, you mean, right?
Live together, like in the
roommates.
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, so it's okay. So if that other person is respectful, and he would not take, for example, Jewish guy dishes. So he knows. So I use my dishes. He uses his dishes, and I'm not going to use his pots ever. So I better not to eat. I'm going to starve for 7 days and not to use his pots. So then there is no problem, or you have some kind of luck to prevent him to get to your pots and place. There is no problem then. So I mean the only issue with the kosher things, but another issue would be that maybe this guy is going to bring girlfriends, right? Which is not appropriate for a Jew to be in that company. And maybe he's going to watch TV, and on that TV he's going to watch something inappropriate, or he's going to listen to the music very loud, and the women are singing. So according to the stricter opinion, and we try to follow it, we don't listen to the women singing even if we don't know how they look like. So if they don't know how they look like, that's absolutely forbidden. But some leniency apply if we do not know how these women look like. So if he's going to listen to his music, whatever he does, only in headphones, and he's not going to bring his girlfriends, and he's not going to watch TV or to watch TV in his room, so there is no problem. I mean, you can behave like two human beings, there is no problem. And then he would be respectful for your Shabbos. So if you love the light, so I have this issue. So with one family, it's not one family, I apologize. With a few, there are actually a few cases, and in that country, people live in several generations living in the same apartment. Okay, that's the reality in that country, right? And they cannot move out, period, because of financial ability. Okay, so and they every time they would leave on Shabbos lights on. In a restaurant, the parents, his parents, are going to put it off. Always. When? Always. So that's the issue. And they even say, I told them, you can tell them, you let them tell the parents, we're going to pay whole electric bill, even your part we're going to pay. And still parents go against, unfortunately. What can you do? But if this person, second person is like a normal person, and he wants to accommodate, there is no problem whatsoever. So if for example we live lights on in a restroom, and we have the switch cover. So everybody must get a switch cover. So in order not to turn off accidentally. If you don't have one, I can send you a link where to get them. Right. So if he's not going to turn off the lights, so there is no problem whatsoever. So you can and plus, for example, on Shabbos when you open the refrigerator, the switch must be covered, right? So when you open, the light should not go on. So if he's okay with that, so yeah, that's okay. So basically, before moving in with such a person, you have to discuss all of the details. Maybe he said, you know what, you Judaism, you're too much for my life. I want to enjoy it. I better get somebody else, even for less money. You understand? But if person is fine with all of this, that it's from the top of my mind, so yeah, there is no problem whatsoever. Okay, what else? Go ahead.
Yes, I would, Rab. Is there anything wrong, or are we allowed to learn from the Yalkut Yosef as compared to like the Shulchan Aruch or anything like that?
Oh yeah, Yalkut Yosef. Oh yeah. Okay. Got it. So there is there is no problem to learn from Yalkut Yosef, and some of the topics that he covers are actually not covered by Kitzur. So because he's more recently written by Yosef, that's all. But here's the thing: is that a person you cannot be into customs, right? A person has to go by Ashkenazi custom, or he has to go by Hasidic custom, or he has to go by Sephardic custom. So, and all of the three customs, they're different. So in many issues, for example, in the Kashrus, if like in the slaughtering, so Ashkenazi custom stricter than the Sephardic custom. I think BeEzrat Yosef, according to Rabbi, he actually changed it, not what was in Shulchan Aruch. I think he went a stricter way. But in Shulchan Aruch, if you read Rambam, if you read commentary to the Rambam, Ashkenazi custom is stricter, right? In some areas, but in some areas, if you're Sephardic person, right? Why would you for example, why would you adhere to the stricter rules of Ashkenazim if it's not yours? So I would say, so a person must choose one path. For example, if a person is going through the conversion, just one path, wherever person wants to go, it's up to you. So you want Sephardic custom, learn Yalkut Yosef. You want Ashkenazi custom, that's Rima, Mishnah Brura, and Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, and whatever we learn. So we learn all that we learn is according to Ashkenazi custom. Sometimes the books say the Sephardic custom is different. Sometimes I know that it's different, so you heard me many times, I would say that Sephardim do differently. But if you learn both books in the same time, it's going to confuse you. Because many times that the decision is absolutely polar opposite. So whatever they say, yeah, absolutely, you have to enjoy, you can enjoy yourself. I'll give you an example, warming food on Shabbos. So for them, they can take soup from refrigerator and put on a platter or on a blech, whatever, and warm it up. So for them, it's absolutely no problem. They let them enjoy it. For Ashkenazi custom, it's almost like not kosher. They see you doing this, they're not going to eat it in your house ever. You understand? So that's how big difference it is. So, but in most of the cases, it's I give you extreme difference, but many times it's not a big difference. But it's proper for a person to go according to one path, not mix, unless for me, I have to know. I have this class, and I would say 70% of people are Sephardic people from different countries. That doesn't matter. So for them, I must know Sephardic custom. You understand? Even though I'm not going to follow, but I'm going. I need to know. But if a person learning for the first time, I would advise not to confuse yourself. Okay, what else? Okay, so if okay, go ahead.
Vermin, now that you said it about customs, how would you know what custom to choose? Because if you're going through a conversion, how would you know which custom to choose?
Okay, so first, I would say it must be chosen before the conversion. Before the conversion, right? Why? I mean, all of the questions that the person is going to be asked, like before the conversion, there is an interview like before the conversion, and there is another interview like even if to take a person to the Beis Din, you understand, he's ready or not ready, so it's like not to waste Beis Din time and that person's money, for example, right? So in all of this interview, the questions are going to be basic questions that apply to Sephardic and Ashkenazi. So how to choose? I don't know how to choose. It's a good question. So I mean, just research the background. Let's research like tradition of both custom and see what appeals what appeals more to you. So, for example, but for a Jew who is Ashkenazic, so it's not so simple to change his custom, and the Jew who is Sephardic, it's not so simple to change his custom. So what is it? Why would you change? So all of your fathers, all of the 20 last generations, 40 generations, I don't know how many generations, would follow this custom, and now you decided to change. Who are you to who gave you the right? You understand? So many times people I'm talking about Jews, right? That want you to change. There is something wrong with them, with all of them. Like I know some people to change that they have such Ashkenazic last names, like and he said, no, I'm Sephardic. From what? I don't know. But I don't know why. I mean, I do know, but I don't want to say. So it's not. It's what all of the people who change the custom that I know personally, it would not I don't think they have a rabbi. And if they even if they do have a rabbi, they say they do, they would never ask him. You understand? That's what people know, unfortunately. So do your research and decide if somebody needs my help, my guidance. I can help and guide. So basically, in short summary. So everybody came from after the first expulsion, right? After the destruction of the first temple, right? All of the people went to Babylonia. I'm talking about two tribes, Yehuda and Binyamin. So we went to Babylonia. So all of the Jews, majority of the Jews, were in Babylonia, and then some of them returned, small number returned. Most of them stay in Babylonia. Then more people joined them. So for the second temple, it was standing for 420 years. And then Romans came. I skip many details. And they said, no, nobody's going to live in Eretz Israel. And people went up north, and they settled in North Africa. They went to Spain. From Spain, they migrated to East. They went to Europe, to France, to England, to Germany. And that's when the Ashkenazic Jews developed, right? So that's when Ashkenazi Jews started, when they went from Spain to Germany, right? To Germany, to France, and they settled in Poland, in Russia, in Belarus, all of these Eastern Europe countries, and Western Europe, of course, as well. So that's the origin of Ashkenazi Jews. And Sephardic is most of the people who stay in Babylonia, in Iran, Iraq, in Yemen, in all of these countries, or even in Africa, in Egypt. Many were in Egypt, in in Morocco and other Libya in all of these countries. So they consider to be Sephardic people, Sephardic. And for people who like change went to Europe, so they became Ashkenazim. And then of course Ashkenazim and Sephardim, they went all over the world. Some of them went to South America, so some of them to North America, to everywhere, to Australia, everywhere. Okay, what else? Any other questions?
Did I hear somebody, or was it just me?
No, it's you. Go ahead.
Okay. Now we're talking about the custom taste. How about how would a convert know what to? I don't know. How do I put this? How would a convert know what his Jewish name is, or is that how do we change our names?
No. You don't change the names. It's no. It's not allowed for a potential convert to take the Jewish name, right? Because it's a lie. So if you right, so what he must do. So the name is changed when during the conversion. So he dips in as a Chris and gets up as a Yitzchak from the mikveh. That's so when a person gets Jewish neshama, Jewish soul, that's when he gets the name, not before. You understand? Same is baby, right? So you have a little Jewish boy born, right? So we don't give him a name. So in the non-Jews, of course, they give a name even before the little guy is born, right? But that's not by Jews. So we give him a name when we do the circumcision, right, on the 8th day. So of course parents know, like, but they keep it in secret. So but officially the whole congregation, the whole world find out how this little guy is called only when we do the circumcision. And same with converts. Like converts do circumcision before they do, like after they pass all the interviews, like I would say like 30-40 days before the actual court days. You understand? So if most likely they're going to get accepted, so they men, I'm talking about men, of course, women do not do circumcision, but men go through the circumcision if they were not circumcised, right? And it takes 30 to 40 days to heal, like for adults. For babies, it's like few days, few minutes later, the baby was crying, now it's not crying, and that's it, it's sleeping normal. That's a miracle from HaShem. But adults, yeah, they have to heal. It's a very painful experience, of course. So the names comes like as a secret or not secret or whatever a person wants, but when a conversion. Deep is, as we said, there's a Chris and comes as a Yitzchak.
So the name comes right after you mikveh, once you did the mikveh?
Yes. No, inside, yeah. When it comes out, that's when, because the name is attached to a Jewish soul. Yeah. You understand? So this process of the mikveh, of course, it's spiritual, this and that, but it is spiritual and the physical in the same sense, right? So a person dips into the mikveh, and sometimes in that moment, and sometimes people report maybe 3 days later, 5 days, some people like few months later, that they feel like physical sensation, that something like physical, like a neshama goes into them. But many people report, of course, I'm just going from other people say, I heard it from Rabbi Reuven Shlita also, many times he told me, right? So that's what people report. Like the guy or girl is in the mikveh, and they report when I was under the water, like 2 seconds, right? 2 seconds. HaShem doesn't need more than the 2 seconds. Like a person gets Jewish neshama if everything went correct way or kosher way. That's it. Some people get a day later, a week later, right? But this name connects to neshama, of course.
Thank you. You answered my question.
Yes, okay. You're welcome. Any other questions? Okay, you're welcome. All right, so let's stop here. Apologize. If any questions, let's leave it for tomorrow because I have another class in 1 minute. Okay, good night. Until tomorrow. Sorry.